So it looks like I made a mistake putting the last video in, so I'm going to redo this one because somehow it didn't show up in our files. So we're doing exploring combinations. What is a combination? A combination is different than a permutation. Okay, with a combination, order doesn't matter. Alright, permutations they did. For example, if we were doing a permutation, you know, ABC and ACB, those are two different permutations. They are the same combination. A combination doesn't care about the order, it just cares what's in the group. Okay? So the difference between a combination and a permutation is that in a combination you just choose the objects, in a permutation you arrange them. Arrangement is important in a permutation. Okay? Now you had a formula for permutations. This is the one for combinations. For the most part you don't need to know that. Instead, you should know where it is on the calculator, because you're going to use that way more than the formula. Okay? So example 1, determine the number of committees that can be formed from 3 people. Okay. If they are also given the titles of president, vice president, and secretary. So if you think about this, the 3 people can be rearranged in different orders. You know, Amir could be president, or he could be VP, or he could be secretary. They're different arrangements. This is a permutation, and you would go 3p3. Okay? But if you look at the next question, it just says, now determine the number of 3 committees that can be formed from 3 people. These ones have no job titles, so that it's just the 3 people in the group. It doesn't matter what position they hold, they're just in the group. This is a combination. And so you would use the different key. You would use combination key. Okay, so the difference there is one, order matters. In other words, arrangement matters, and the other one it doesn't. So let's look at some questions for combinations. A restaurant serves 10 scoops of ice cream. Danielle has ordered a large sundae with 3 scoops. How many different ice cream combinations, it even uses the word combinations, does Danielle have to choose from? Think about your bowl. How you put those scoops in there really doesn't matter. As long as you have those 3 flavors, you don't care the order that they're put in. You don't care if the restaurateur puts in the vanilla first and then the chocolate, or vice versa. Okay, so order doesn't matter, it's a combination. 10, choose 3 gives you 120. Okay, now if you were thinking about a cone and you were putting them on there and it said how many different arrangements, then this would be 10 permute 3. But that's not what the question is asking. Okay? Let's try this one. Tanya is a coach of a pole push team that consists of 9 players, 5 male, 4 female. Each competition, teams of 4 compete against each other to push their competitors out of a circle. The team that is successful wins. How many different 4-person teams does Tanya have to choose from an all-male competition? So it says all-male, and we have 5 male. So it's going to be 5, choose 4. Again, it doesn't matter what order you put them in there. Okay? In B, it says how many different 4-person teams does Tanya have to choose from, with 2 males and 2 females. So these are the conditions: 2 males, 2 females. So first, how do you choose 2 males? It's 5 choose 2. And how do you choose 2 females? It's 4 choose 2. And because we need both things to happen in this group, we multiply it. And means multiply. So 5 choose 2, that's choosing the 2 males. And 4 choose 2, that's choosing the 2 females. Put them together, you get 10 times 6, 60. Okay, so pause the video for a second, and I want you to try example 4, and then we'll do that. Okay, so 8 teams are scheduled to play in a round-robin tournament. How many games have to be scheduled? So if you think about this, you know, you have your 8 teams. Let's just kind of pretend these are teams. There's 8. And each team, so let's take a look at this team here. It has to play each of the other teams. Okay? And so this has to happen in each case. But since this team has already played this team, when I go to this one now and I try to do the arrangements, you don't have to go back and play that team again. Okay? So when you think of playing a team, there are 2 teams involved every time there's a game. So there are 8 teams, and we're going to choose 2 of them at a time. Okay, now notice I used the formula this time. You don't need to use this formula. You can just enter it as 8 choose 2. There's 28 ways that they can play. Okay, now suppose you have 8 points, no 3 of which are collinear. How many triangles can be drawn using 3 points? So it's similar if you put your 8 dots together. So let's do that. Let's put 8 dots here. But this time we're supposed to use 3 dots, and when you connect 3 dots, no matter how you do it, you're gonna form a triangle. So what it's saying is how many different triangles could we form? Okay, and this is going to be 8, and you're going to choose 3 at a time. All right, let's try another one. How many 3-person or 4-person committees can be formed? Now, or is an interesting thing because it means we're doing 2 separate situations and we're going to add the 2 situations. That's what or means. So how many ways can you have a 3-person committee? It's 12 choose 3. Or we could have 12 choose 4. So we add those 2 totals, you get 715 ways you could have a 3 or 4-person committee. Alright? Again, pause the video, try the next one. How many ways can a committee of 3 girls and 4 boys be chosen? Alright, and again, and means multiply. So how do you do a 3 girl out of 8 girls? You go 8 choose 3. So 8 girls choosing 3. 8 choose 3. And there are 15 boys, and you're going to choose 4 of them. Alright, you multiply them. So just kind of keep that in mind. When would you add? When would you multiply? Take a look at the difference. One's or, one's and. Okay, this is a little trickier. A planning committee is to be formed from a school-wide Earth Day committee. There are 13 volunteers, 8 are teachers, 5 are students. How many ways can the principal choose a 4-person committee? And then we've got this phrase here, at least 1 teacher. Now, at least 1 teacher means there could be 1 teacher, there could be 2 teachers, there could be 3, there could be 4. There can't be 5 because it's a 4-person committee. So we need to look at each one of these 4 possibilities. Okay, so that's what I've got here. Either 1 teacher, 2 teacher, 3 teachers, or 4. So if we were to do, don't look at the other ones, let's try and do one together. If you were to do 1 teacher, you would choose 1 of the teachers out of the 8 that there are. So 8, choose 1, and since we need 4 people in the committee, we're going to go and, out of the students, we're going to pick 3 of them. So this is 8 times 10, there are 80 ways to pick 1 teacher. Now using the same format, let's go to 2 teachers. So now you're going to choose 2 teachers instead of 1, which means you only need 2 students because this has to add up to 4. Alright, and then if we wanted to go 3 teachers, 3 and 1. And 4 teachers, 4 and 0. Now, you don't need to do this, 5 choose 0, because this is just 1, and when you multiply by 1, it doesn't change anything. But it's nice just to kind of keep that organization, doing it that way. Alright, and now if you notice that this is 1 teacher or 2 teachers or 3 or 4, we add up the amounts and you end up with 710 ways. Okay, so combinations, not the trickiest thing. Some of the language is a little bit confusing. So go ahead and try this lesson, and we can take this up in class if you have any questions.